Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 246.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Now, here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That way, every single time it's Cyber Monday, you'll be alerted to it. I am only looking for one special thing. Well, 2. We need couches. That's the biggest thing.
Good luck with that.
But I don't think we're going to find that in a cyber way, right? But I am looking for Joe's favorite thing about me, my paper planner for 2024. And I'm definitely looking for some kind of new planner. I've used the Erin Condren. I've used some like no-name ones. This one was like Living Well. Planner is the one that I used last year, but I'm always on the hunt for the best possible planner. Now's a good time to look for one. Let me know in the comments if you have a favorite planner, because I'm not like brand loyal to anything
we
yet.
found one. I linked it down below. I think we're going to pull the trigger later on because it's on sale today. So welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love to celebrate subscribers, wins, answer questions and comments that came off of our social media from the last week. Our channel is all about community and building community, and that's why we do these, especially why we do them live. If you're new here, the way we do this is we're going to go through our normal Keto Beyond the Couch, answer all the questions that we found from the last week, celebrate some subscribers. The last 10 or 15 minutes, we'll address the chat, so if you have questions, hold off to the last 10 or 15 minutes, right around 11 o'clock. Or you can use the super chat function, which is the $ thing that is down below in the chat window. That does 2 things. Number 1, it does help benefit the channel, which we greatly appreciate. In addition, though, more importantly, what it does is it highlights our screen and lets us know you have a question or a comment, and we can answer it and address it right then and there.
I did want to celebrate this morning. Sabrina Cagle recently got some health results back for after some testing, cancer-free. Praise God.
That is awesome.
Like, we are super duper rejoicing with you at that great news,
Dr.
Sabrina.
Barry is in the house.
Hey, Dr. Barry, how are you doing? It must be getting a little bit cold in his part of the country. I know a lot of people are already experiencing snow. And I was geared up this weekend for a little bit of a jacket weather. No. I about cooked myself.
We were walking around Orlando on Saturday, and I'm like, it's a little chilly. I mean, a little chilly being in like the 70s.
Right.
And there was a song saying like, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And I'm like,
no,
not really.
Not.
Because there's no snow and it's like 80 degrees outside.
We had one of those marriage true confession moments where he's like, I love you. I know that we live here in Florida. I'm glad of that. But as somebody who did grow up with seasons, baby, sometimes this time of year, it just don't feel like Christmas if you have no change of seasons.
And it was a little weird not doing like Black Friday shopping and all that kind of stuff.
We saved all of our Black Friday shopping to exclusively purchasing Rodizio Grill like gift certificates.
Yeah, we bought a lot of them.
Basically because it was buy one get one free.
Yeah, so the way it worked was you bought $100 in gift cards, and then they give you $100 in basically coupons that you can use later, like 4 $25 gift certificates that you can use once a quarter. And so, yeah, we bought a bunch of them because pretty much the only restaurants that we ever go out to are either
all you can eat meat.
You know, Texas State Brazil, Rodizio Grill.
Barbecue joints.
You know, those are where we go, and we tend to go wherever we can find a deal. So, yeah, buy $100, get $100. That's a deal.
I will say that we, for the very first time, visited the Rodizio in Orlando. Yo, if you live in the Orlando area, your Rodizio is kicking. Like, it was really, really nice. The service was fantastic. And honestly, I did not feel at all judged for the amount of like gift certificates we were purchasing. The lady was so sweet.
So let's get into Keto Beyond the Couch. I did want to mention one thing, just a big, once again, shout out to the cookie company. Why am I drawing a blank?
Clean
Clean
Keto.
Keto. Thank you very
Yes.
much. Drawing a blank. So to Clean Keto, who sent out over 200 cookies to subscribers through the 11 on 11 campaign. You guys did amazing. We raised almost
Yes.
$11,000 for our veterans.
You guys are number one
And we
on
had,
all the streams.
We are. And we had some of their desserts for Thanksgiving. We brought them over. Everybody loved them. The two things that we brought over was we had this cheesecake assortment, which was really good. That bright yellow one, by the way, is lemon, and it was amazing.
Oh, the key lime was awesome too, as well as the chocolate. And I really liked having a variety.
Yeah.
Because we all kind of like, me and my mom and Becky and you and the boys, like we all took like little slivers of it so that you could have a variety taste. It was nice.
And then we also had this crumble cake, which I didn't get any.
I am so sorry. I ate way more than my share of that, but it was more of like a cookie cake texture, and that is my jam.
Yep.
So I really, really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the fact that we had something to bring. It was really nice, and when it was over, it was over.
And all of the non-keto people loved it. So they were like, this is great. So big shout out to them. We make no money off of them, but they're a small bakery out in California and using very clean ingredients. We really like them. Let's jump right into Keto Beyond the Couch. We're going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This one is from Keto Going.
So good.
And so it was this little meme they put up. Discipline is just choosing between what you want now and what you want most.
This is so absolutely true. And I can honestly tell you, there were so many years where I just daydreamed. Like I was fishing in the wishing well because I wasn't actually moving forward or taking any steps to experience anything different in my health. I was sitting on the couch dreaming, not just of a white Christmas in Florida, right? But I was dreaming that somehow success was going to fall in my lap. And it just does not work that way.
Yeah, I mean, we were actually talking about this while we were driving this weekend and talking about a recent video that Thomas DeLawler put up about why are people quitting keto? And I personally don't think people are really quitting keto as much. I think it's being blown up more. I think more and more people are coming to a ketogenic lifestyle. And, you know, I think the biggest problem is that people get started on keto and they think they see these. Listen, they've highlighted Dr. Berry, they've highlighted some of our subscribers, but these articles like Women's World, where like the front cover is like, I lost 30 pounds in
2 days.
15 days.
Right.
And so people see that and they get started on keto because they think that's what's going to happen. And as you see on like diet pill bottles and stuff, like results not typical. They don't really say that kind of thing. And it's not realistic. And a lot of times we know that, you know, articles like that tend to change words and things like that. We've talked to people they've interviewed.
They begin a conversation, which I think is important.
But I think what happens is people come to keto to lose weight and then they get stuck into like all of these different like keto products that they see in grocery stores, not by small companies like Keto Brick and stuff like that, but like where, you know,
coconut clusters.
Duncan Hines is putting out keto products and they're questionable ingredients. They're like, but I'm staying keto and they're following net carbs and then they quit saying it doesn't work. And they say, well, like, I don't understand what's going on. And the thing is, here's the thing. Keto is super easy. Keto is very easy. Just don't eat carbohydrates. Implementing it can be more difficult.
Exactly.
And it goes back to this meme because, you know, we think, well, it's the holidays. I just want a piece of cake. But what's more important? What you want right now, that piece of cake for the holidays, or your overall health?
And it was interesting because Dr. Westman had a great video where he was like reacting to it and to Thomas Lawler's video. And it was interesting hearing these two people talk about it and us sit back and think like, hey, you know, can we be presenting things in an easier way? Is there a way that we can help to change the course of that? You know, and of course, anytime somebody says like, well, you know, influencers have an influence on that. I think that it's really important I hope that our influence,
I hate that word.
I know it, is that we use any time that we have to spend with an audience trying to help them make it sustainable for them.
Yeah.
I think that is the key.
Brewing better, living to the best. I said, I feel like people succeed more when they are doing this way of eating for health reasons.
I think you have to
and
make
that's what we say.
the jump to deciding it's a lifestyle too. Because
Right.
I think that if you never take it out of the diet category and you're like, well, this is what I do for a small period of time when I want fast results, and you don't change your life because of the health perspective of keto, I think that can
And it goes back to that
undermine it.
little meme of, do you want better health or do you want the cake? Which one's
Right.
more important to you?
Yeah.
Let's move into our subscriber of the week. We have a couple of them. First one is Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Stacy put this up and said, never have I ever walked away from a holiday feeling proud for eating healthily, and have certainly never dropped weight on a holiday. It's always been a free pass or an excuse for an all-out food binge, where how much food stuff can I eat overruled spending it with friends and family. That's the difference between a carb-laden food fest and a celebration with nourishing foods. I feel empowered for prioritizing my health. And she put this up, I guess this is her thing too. She said, my day yesterday in food form, not pictured in this, is the salad I had, as well as a course of coffee with cream. I wore a pair of snug jeans to help me not overeat, but with the food we ate, I didn't feel the need to overeat. I ate till comfortably full. Compared to past Thanksgivings, where I would eat mostly carb-heavy sides and feeling lethargic after the meal, yesterday I had energy, and I'm down a pound from yesterday.
So, Stacy, I am so stinking proud of you, and you can see that there is a lot of steps even in her sharing. You see that she put a lot of boundaries in place to make sure that she was successful the rest of the day, right? There was what I'm wearing. Like, this is not the season for us to put on pajama pants and just live like that. Just because it is cold outside, I think you still have to get up and dress in a way where you can notice when you're full and when you're hungry, if that can help you. I like the fact that she brought a good variety of foods so that she's not gonna feel deprived. She definitely employed the eat until I'm full.
Yep.
That was really important, so she didn't pick at things all day. And then she took the time to be grateful for it. And I think that is really important too, for us to, at the end of the day, take a look at that last 24 hours and say, am I doing what I want to do? Is this good? Am I gonna call this day good? Or are there some tweaks that I need to make tomorrow? Don't make the decision to make tweaks a week at a time, right? Because that's when you can really go far fast.
Next one we have is from a new member of our Mighty Networks, Philip. And you just said, I'm a 47-year-old man who started my journey September 2021 at 385 pounds. I've lost 200 pounds in 15 months with keto and intermittent fasting. Just want to put up a face to give you to the person.
And I think that your arms are full of your why right there, right? Because 200 pounds down allows you to keep in step with these young children that, oh my gosh, they're bionic.
Yep.
Peyton can crawl at 25 miles per hour. I'm pretty convinced of it. Aren't you? I mean, she is fast already.
So now just a reminder, if you aren't a member of our Mighty Networks, go join it. It's free. It's members.2krazyketos.com. There's a link down below. You do need to use an internet browser, not the app, to sign up. But once you sign up, you can go use the internet browser. If you choose to actually support us financially, you can do so through there, but the main group is free. We spend a lot of time in there. Rachel goes in there now at least once a week to just kind of do a spontaneous live stream in a little bit more intimate setting. So go join that, members.2krazyketos.com. Let's take a quick fade to black and we'll come back with some comments.
I'm going to tell you, one of the greatest, I'm going to enjoy my week already it is November 27th and my tree is up.
Yeah.
And I would like to publicly thank the Two Crazy Ketos family members who made this possible. Sometimes just having accountability and being in community helps you to have success that blesses other areas of your life, because I probably would get lazy during Thanksgiving week, not have my tree up yet, and then what are you doing? You're trying to hurry up and hit the ground running in your holiday plans. And I'm so glad to just have that done already. So thanks, guys.
Okay, first comment we have is from Leia.
Hey, Leia.
On the concept of taking food just because it was offered to me. After raising toddlers, I had to break the habit of eating whatever was left on their plates. I gained a lot of weight doing that alone. So while doing keto, I would tell myself, this is not my food and I am not a garbage can.
Amen.
It helped me to break the habit very effectively, and I also am using the I am not a garbage can reminder to help my autistic teen daughter be okay with leaving food on her plate when she's full and saying no thank you when offered something she doesn't want or knows she shouldn't eat, and it has helped her a lot.
Wow. There is so much that we can take away from this, but it took a mindset set shift, right? Like it really did. Like Leia had to decide, I'm going to do things differently. And I really appreciate that even if you've been doing something the same way for a long time, if you're like, hey, I have been the workplace garbage can for many years, or I am usually the person where when a meal is over, whoever is the host of the party packs up everything and sends it home for me because either they think they want to get rid of it and I'll take it, or, they feel like I need it in some way. I don't have to do that. I don't have to. I can change the way I'm doing things, even if I've been doing things this way for a really long time. And I love what you're talking about with your daughter as well, to help her feel confident in her food choices, right? Because she's telling you, I'm done. I don't want any more. And so you honoring that is such a precious gift to her as well, as far as her relationship with food moving forward.
Okay, next one we have is from Joanna.
Hey, Joanna, you both inspire me to stay the course and to remember my why. Holidays are tough as I get in my head. I could splurge this one time, and I know that's not the case. I always feel sick and inflamed afterward. I'm glad to have this family support as we all maneuver the holidays. Eileen's story sounds like mine. Halloween 2019 got me sugar addicted. For 2 years, I gained, then 2 more years struggling to kick my sugar addiction. 50 pounds gained. It is not worth it. I wish I could go back. And Joanna, thank you for being so vulnerable in this. And I hope that somebody else who's like still in that decision-making process, am I just going to just throw down the reins and let the holidays take me wherever eating wise, or am I going to have a plan in place, even if it's just to just stay keto? She's telling you going off the rails was not worth it.
And listen, here's the thing. I know that for us, we're different. I understand that. And there are a lot of people who have this ability to have one thing and then never have it again.
Right.
That is certainly not me. But my personal opinion is I don't think it's a smart thing to go off the rails, because whether or not you can mentally say, I'm not going to eat that anymore, you are going to have some physical issues. If you haven't had sugar for a year, when you go have that sugar, even if you can do it just the one time, you're probably not going to feel good. And I know that for us, listen, the holidays aren't over. We only had Thanksgiving. We still have Christmas. We still have New Year's coming. We still have Hanukkah, so there's a lot of holidays still to come over the next month. In addition, we have the Two Crazy Ketos cruise, which if you are a member of that cruise, if you haven't done so, you can check in. Check in.
Step one.
Get everything. They're still having some sales if you haven't gotten your drink packages or whatever kind of add on your internet, stuff like that. So go definitely take care of that today before those sales go away. But I know that for ourselves, do we eat things on holidays like Thanksgiving that we don't have on a regular basis? Yes.
Cheesecake.
But we still keep it keto. Cheesecake is a perfect example. I think it is the easiest dessert there is to make keto. You literally only have to change out the sweetener. That's all you have to do.
Right.
Change out the sweetener, and it is now keto friendly. Is it the most optimal thing to eat on your diet? No, especially every day. But if you want to partake in the holidays with everybody else and still have things, it is a good alternative because it won't derail you.
Right.
Okay? And so I look at what we had on Thanksgiving, and I was able to walk away and go, I didn't have anything to derail me. I had cranberry sauce that we made. We have a recipe for how to make that. We had turkey. We had brisket. We ate some broccoli with some cheese on it, and we had cheesecake.
Well, and
And you had crumble cake.
I just want you guys to know that I love you so much. And anything that we say that's like, okay, like be careful, it's not us being preachy. It's like saying to your children, take an umbrella because it looks like there may be rain outside, right? Like we love you and we want you to be successful. Of course, whatever decision that you make during the holidays, we are here for you. We love you. That doesn't change how we see you. Like our estimation of you does not go down depending on your choices. Like it doesn't work like that. We love you unconditionally, but of course, just like, you know, anybody, if I'm talking to a friend or a loved one, if I really love you, I want you to be successful and not be frustrated.
Next one we have is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Are you guys going to put a video out on beef, butter, bacon, egg resume this go-around? No, we didn't do a specified video. We talked about it with our beef, butter, bacon, egg group. If you want to know, listen, I didn't measure anything. I went completely by how I feel. I can tell you I lost about 14 pounds on beef, butter, bacon, and egg. But more importantly, I feel better and all of my clothes are like super loose.
I'm so stinking proud of you. I did not lose any weight, but I felt absolutely wonderful throughout the entire process. And there's so much stuff we have not worked back in. Like for instance, you see me having a second cup of coffee this morning, but I didn't go back to drinking Celsius every single day like I was. You know, I haven't gone back to drinking diet sodas regularly. I'm really like, hey, once I worked out the taste for them in that area of my life, then I'm like, okay, the noise level of that ingredient is down, so let's just keep it down. I also have not gone back to the berry consumption that I was, you know, eating before, nuts, nut butter. I'm just like, you know what? I want to feel good through the holidays and into our cruise. And so I'm like, I'm just taking a break and I'm feeling great.
Next one is from Elf Crate.
Hi, love the affiliate links on Amazon. How do I find your store?
So in the description of every one of our videos, as well as on our website, there's a link that says like our favorite Amazon products, and you can just click on that. I also put a link right on the top down below. And again, so basically it needs to be updated. But anytime we find products that we buy a lot of times or that we've purchased, like whether it be appliances or things like liquid sucralose or whatever, I simply put it into these are our favorite things. You can click on anything in our Amazon store and then go make your purchase. And then that does help benefit the channel, which we really appreciate you guys doing that. That's how we're able to keep the channel going. And it doesn't cost you anything. And Amazon throws a couple of pennies our way in the form of an Amazon gift card, which we then use to buy more ingredients or more appliances to do more videos. So it just kind of keeps getting dumped back into the channel.
We really appreciate it.
Next one is from Dolores.
Hey, Dolores.
So,
Dolores?
Y'all are saying that if you do carnivore and are having a hard time losing weight, we should do beef, butter, bacon, and egg. If so, I can do. I have not had I have not have up cheese and cream cheese yet, hardly at all. Please say yes. So, I don't want to promise that if you're struggling with weight loss and you're carnivore, doing beef, butter, bacon, and egg is going to be a miracle. Can it help? Yes, it depends on what kind of carnivore you are doing. There's a lot of things that could be causing your weight to not be going down, even if you're carnivore. It could be, where's your stress? Where's your sleep? Are you doing any kind of movement? I'm not saying you have to hit the gym for 2 hours every single day, but you do need to move. You need to move your body somehow, whether it be walking or a jog or something, for at least 20 or 30 minutes every single day. You need to do some light exercises, basic movements, push-ups, pull-ups, planks, and squats. You can do that by going and sitting and standing up and down the toilet for 50 times.
YouTube has workouts for free.
So there's lots of different things you can do that way. But if your carnivore does include cheese and cream cheese, that could be the issue. Beef, butter, bacon, and egg helps you because you're going to eliminate all of that stuff as well, which might be just causing inflammation.
Yeah.
So those are things that you want to look at. And again, how many times a day are you eating? Remember, every time you eat, your body has an insulin reaction. Even if it's keto, even if it's, just fat, even if it's fat and protein with no carbs, you're going to have some insulin reaction. Well, every time your body releases insulin, it kind of pauses fat loss because insulin is a fat storing hormone. It is a growth hormone. So when you eat, you kind of say like, okay, I'm not going to lose weight. You can't lose weight in the presence of insulin. That's why we want to limit our eating to 2 or 3 times a day, not snacking. If you go eat a piece of cheese in between meals, you just had an insulin reaction.
Right.
So you've paused your weight loss. So beef, butter, bacon, egg will help you if you do it right, which is eat till you're full. Don't eat again until you're hungry. Just eat a couple of times a day, but make sure when you do sit down to eat, you eat till you're full.
I like how Sabrina is like, that's a great advice, and something that we do often is after you eat, go take a walk. That was something
that's the best thing you can do.
That was something my grandparents like always did. And you probably remember extended family members that like after a meal would just like take a walk around the block, just get a little bit of exercise, and it makes you feel really good doing that. And it's especially if you, let's say you eat 2 or 3 times a day, you're guaranteed to get in a couple of walks, right? Instead of saying, well, I'm just going to walk based on if I feel like it on that day. But if you kind of habit stack and be like, I know I'm going to eat, because that's going to happen. When I do, immediately following that, I take a walk.
Yep.
It'll help.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with more comments. Okay, so there were a couple things that I saw pop up in the chat, and I just wanted to address them before we move on because they may disappear. Dawn has a good question. Why are there so many keto sites that say sweet potatoes are keto? I don't know. Okay, so are sweet potatoes a whole food? Yes.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Are they appropriate for most people on a ketogenic diet? In my personal opinion. Now, I am not a doctor, a nurse, or a health professional. I am a certified health coach, but I'm going to tell you, for most people, sweet potatoes are not good for you on a keto lifestyle. Let's talk about the definition of what is keto, or what is ketosis, and what is ketogenesis. There is a difference. Ketosis is where your body is utilizing ketones for fuel. Okay, so your body is using ketones for fuel. So if you're not eating carbohydrates, if you look at oxidative priority, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but you have alcohol, then exogenous ketones, protein for amino acids, but not for fuel, then carbohydrates, okay, and then you get into your fats. If you consume the carbohydrates, your body will kind of put a hold on those and use keto. Or if you put a hold on using ketones and use the carbs. There is approximately, I pulled it up here, in a large sweet potato, there is approximately 49 carbs in a sweet potato with 7.8 grams of fiber. Now, if you want to do net carbs with a sweet potato, have at it.
But you're still looking at
made it.
40 carbs.
You're still looking at about 42 carbs if you eat a whole sweet potato. Okay? That means that your body has to utilize all 42 of those carbs before it gets to ketones, which means while it's working on that sweet potato, you are no longer in ketosis. Why? No matter what your meter says, that meter does not tell you really the whole truth. No matter what your meter says, if you consume a sweet potato, you're not in ketosis, whether or not you have ketones in your blood, because your body's got to use those carbohydrates for fuel first. Okay, it's going to use those first. That's why we keep our carbs as low as possible. Ketogenesis is where your body is creating ketones from the fat. Again, we got to use this first. So if you look at some of the things that Dr. Berry has talked about, the definition of the proper human diet is something that is whole food, essentially low carb, being 100 total carbs or less. So here, yes, you could say that fits in. But now it depends on you, your metabolic state, how healthy you are. For many of us who came to keto, especially to lose weight, or maybe we were diabetic, we're not metabolically healthy. Therefore, we need to keep our carbs super low. The best way to ensure that you're going to, for the most part, stay in ketogenesis and ketosis is to keep your carbs under 20 to 30 total carbohydrates per day. So eating a sweet potato eliminates that because you're now eating more than 20 to 30 total carbs. Now, there are people who can do it, and do something called carb cycling, where maybe before a workout they have a heavy load. Thomas Law actually talked about that, and I agree with him, where they do some sweet potatoes or something like that before a workout to help fuel their workout. But let's look at who they are. Okay, if you want to do carb cycling or eat sweet potatoes to give yourself energy for a workout, how metabolically healthy are you? Where is your body? And are you working out to the extent of somebody like Danny Vega or Thomas DeLawler, or are we kind of just doing like small little exercises?
No, basically what I want to do is take that sweet potato, turn it into sweet potato fries, and just eat a little bit more like what I used to eat.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Am I allowed to say that out loud? Because it's like, I have to always check my motivation. And there are people who, especially women, if you have a health coach that you're working with that is maybe utilizing strategic carbs for you specifically, then I think that is something that is between you and your health coach or, your health provider. But that's going to be very unique. So just because you see somebody that's putting out a video or you're hearing talk someplace that's saying, hey, we're utilizing this, it doesn't mean that it's for everybody. You know, I absolutely loved, and I was so excited to see so many people use our carnivore mac and cheese recipe. But if somebody was allergic to shrimp, that would not be a recipe for them, right?
Yeah. Sabrinas says Benazati calls it keto flex. Absolutely. But again, let's look at what is your circumstance. If you have to lose 150 pounds and eating that sweet potato is going to kick you out of ketosis and ketogenesis, why are we doing it? If you look like Danny Vega and are metabolically healthy, that's a completely different situation. And if you're going to do it, you need to do it in certain ways. But for the most part, I don't agree. Listen, I love sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes were my jam, especially when you put a bunch of butter or brown sugar or something like that on there. But I personally don't think it's a good idea, and I don't think it's needed. Robert has just proved you don't need any carbohydrates.
No.
There's nobody that can look at him and say that he is not a physical specimen and an athlete.
Like perfection.
And he is doing it without eating carbohydrates. He's not incorporating sweet potatoes before his workouts.
I just have to check my motivation, because the addict in me could make a legal defense for literally anything.
Yeah.
Like this Baby Ruth bar is medicinal, okay? Like this is my emotional support, whatever. Fill in the blank with whatever it is that I am wanting. There was a time I would look Joe straight in the face and be like, these are my emotional support strawberries. Yeah. And he would be like, I don't think you need to eat a pint of them every single day if you're like frustrated by it. And I'm like, yeah, but I need to make a defense for the things that I want to eat right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you have reached your goals, and you've reversed your type 2 diabetes, and you've been doing this for a while, not 3 months. We're going to talk about fat adapted a little later.
Right.
Not 3 months, but you've been doing it like us for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving comes and you want to have a sweet potato, have at it. That's probably not going to derail you. But if you've been doing this for 3 or 4 months and you still have 100 pounds to lose or more, and you still are struggling with high glucose, I don't personally think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's just me.
That's one of those things that we talked about, like, I think it was last week or the week before, where it's like, if you're trying to do some things that are a little bit like beyond, like you're trying to specialize in some way because of, health concerns, or, maybe you're going through menopause or something and you're trying to get some micronutrients in a specific way, don't do that alone. This is not something to like WebMD. I definitely think that it would be beneficial to bring in a health coach into your life to kind of help you with that.
Yeah. Okay, first comment from Facebook is from Ann.
Hey, Ann. Hey, got a question on the Keto Chow Lazy Engineered Beef. Every time I make it, the meat is kind of tough. I want it to be more like a moist brisket than roast beef. How do I do that? I put about 2 tablespoons of oil into the slow cooker, some Worcestershire sauce, salt, pepper, and garlic powder, and cook it on low for about 6 hours. If I want to do it in the Instapot, how long should I cook it for?
Okay, so a couple questions, Ann. Number one, are you cutting it up, or are you just putting the whole roast in there? If you're putting the whole roast in there, 6 hours is nowhere near enough. You're going to be looking at more like probably like 8 to 10, maybe even 12 hours. I like to cut up my chuck roasts and just let it go. I'm more of an Instant Pot person than a slow cooker, because Rachel doesn't want me to leave the slow cooker on and leave the house, which is what they're designed for.
Right.
But the whole idea is, again, low and slow. If that chuck roast, which is what most people use for lean to engineered beef kind of thing, chuck roast briskets, things like that, they are very tough pieces of meat. The way you have to get them where they fall apart and you can shred them with your fingers or a fork is low and slow. So the longer you go, the better. When you're cooking that stuff, you're looking for an internal temperature of like 205 degrees, not this 160 degrees. If you're cooking brisket to 160 degrees, is it cooked? Yes. Is it going to fall apart? Absolutely not. It's going to be chewy and tough. The average brisket takes 10 to 14 hours to smoke to get it to the texture that people think of when you think of brisket. So first thing is I would make sure you're putting enough water in there to have like a nice stew juice. I definitely go longer. If you're doing it in an Instapot, 45 minutes tends to be enough for me, where I can just have like fall apart. Like you can if you don't have teeth like me, half of my teeth are removable dentures, you could gum it and still break it apart.
Which is nice.
And I find 45 minutes, I cut it into a few big chunks like this, and then put it in there, and it just falls apart.
And this is a great time of year to leverage that, because we're wanting comfort food, especially when it gets cold, you're trying to bundle up. So we need to prepare for that and don't wait to respond to the winter season, right? Like, so deciding, hey, I'm going to use the crock pot, I'm going to use the Instapot, and I'm going to have a lot of like cozy meals ready for me, and also keep me out of the kitchen. When you're doing something like a roast, you're using an Instapot, you set it and forget it by design, and you don't have to be in the kitchen constantly checking it with a potential for a lot of drive-by eating that you didn't want to do.
Yeah, I just saw this, by the way. Sabrina said, I don't believe any potato is keto, only because its starch turns into sugar. So for me, I can't do any starches.
Just leads to more.
Starch is sugar. It's the plant's version of sugar. And I want to make this clear. There's no food that is keto. There is keto-friendly foods. Yeah. So when someone goes, this food is keto, no, it's not. It's keto-friendly. What makes it keto-friendly? Whether it will or will not aid you on your keto journey and help you stay in ketosis or ketogenesis. So you could say this cookie, an Oreo cookie, is keto. That doesn't mean it's keto. It's not keto if it kicks you out of ketosis and ketogenesis. If it's going to take your carbs so high where your body's no longer going to turn fat into ketones, it's not keto, even if it's zero carbs.
I hear that a lot with people during the holidays when they talk about like keto drinks, no
alcohol is
like
keto.
A lower carbohydrate alcohol, and they're like, this is a keto drink, this is a keto mixer or whatever, but like that, it's not helping you.
Yeah. So I will say this, since you brought it up.
Yes.
There is no such thing as a keto alcohol or keto-friendly alcohol, because all alcohol, regardless of how many carbs are in it, will temporarily kick you out of ketosis and ketogenesis. That goes back to oxidative priority. Alcohol is the very first thing that your body will utilize for fuel, because number one, it can't store it. Number two, it's a toxin. So when you consume alcohol, even a zero-carb alcohol, you will temporarily be kicked out of ketosis, even if your meter says 0.5 or higher, okay? I saw this. Debbie has a question. As we lose weight, do you find you get colder feeling?
Yeah.
I do. I'm wondering if it's just me. Yes. You generally will get cold. Number one, you're losing insulation.
Right.
Number two, if you are actively losing weight and you're not eating that much, it's your body's way of kind of keeping things going.
Right.
Okay. Next one is from Jaina.
Hey, Jaina.
Oh my goodness, I just finished watching Joe and Rachel's live. I am alone in my apartment, and even though I'm going to see family tomorrow for Thanksgiving, it's still kind of lonely being by myself most of the time. It was just such a nice, cozy evening watching Rachel decorate the tree, listening to the great tips. I just want everyone to know that these videos really make a difference in the lives of people, especially people who are alone. Wow. Thank you so much for this group and for Joe and Rachel and everyone behind Two Crazy Ketos.
Jana, thank you so much for sharing that. That blesses our life so much, and that is my great desire, is during this holiday season that you would know in your heart that you are not alone, that you are not by yourself. Even if you don't live in a house with like multiple people, even if, there's times when you feel lonely, there's times when all of us feel lonely. And in those times, I think it's nice to come together and be in community, even if it's virtually. Now, there are some opportunities. Make sure you're checking out lowcarbevents.com. There are meetups going on all around the country during this season. People that are just getting together from our family group and from our Mighty Networks group, just grabbing coffee together. But I just want you to know that we love you and that you're not alone, that we're here with you, celebrating your successes, holding your hand through those tough times, and we're just glad that you're here.
Yep. Next one is from Jane.
Hey Jane, I'm going to order mineral drops to help with nighttime leg cramps. Can I still drink electrolytes during the day, or would that be too much? Thanks.
Okay, so let's talk about Keto Chow Daily Minerals. They're a good base. Okay. They don't have enough sodium, but you should be salting your food. So if you start with a serving of that throughout the day, that's going to give you a lot of what you need. You may need more electrolytes. So it's very difficult. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it is very difficult to overdo electrolytes on keto. Unless you are taking just ridiculous amounts of electrolytes in the wrong proportions, like doing like just a potassium supplement but not having any sodium or magnesium, or if you're taking a bunch of like powdered electrolytes or capsules and you're not consuming any fluids, because then they build up in your body, and if you're not consuming enough fluid, your body has no way to filter out and get rid of, eliminate what it doesn't need. That's the way your body gets rid of unneeded electrolytes, is you just pee it out, or you sweat it out, or you poop it out in the form of diarrhea. But if you're not consuming any liquid, then that makes it a little bit more difficult. So make sure there's no set amount of fluids, but make sure you're consuming fluids. That's one of the reasons I like things like Redmond Relight or Element, because you have to mix it with water. You're giving the right proportions, and then you drink water. So that really will help you. So are you going to overdo your electrolytes if you're doing daily minerals? No. We do daily minerals, and then I usually do 2, 3, 4 packs a day of Element or Redmond Relight, or I do my Keto Chow electrolyte capsules. So if you're having nighttime leg cramps, up your magnesium. I would definitely start with upping your magnesium. Use like the Keto Chow magnesium capsules or the liquid magnesium. Next one is from Stacy.
Hey Stacy, I'm having an issue with low blood sugar. Yep, coming from a previous pre-diabetic, my CGM average last 7 days is 72. Goes down to 40 overnight. Yes, I have verified and calibrated it with finger sticks, nagging headache. I'm mostly carnivore with seasoning. I get plenty of Element and fluids. Added keto braids today. I use heavy whipping cream and cheese. Suggestions, please. Thank you.
Okay, so 72 is not a low glucose. That's especially on keto. I wish I can have a 72 for my glucose. That's perfect. That's usually where Rachel falls in. Rachel falls in the 70s to 80s and drops to about 50 at night.
Yeah.
Again, we are not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but if you are sticking carnivore and you're sticking strict keto, this isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
You can't, the 40, I'd worry about that maybe a little bit. I'd maybe make sure you're eating enough food.
That's what my first thought was, like, are you eating enough food?
Dr. Boz and Dr. Berry both have great videos about glucose dropping. But again, if you are carnivore, okay, and you're not on any medications, and I know I'd asked, she said she's not on any medications. If your glucose is in the high 40s or 50 at night, your body is fueled by ketones. Our glucose is designed, it's supposed to drop while we're sleeping, and your ketones go up. Somebody who is metabolically healthy, actually, like, even if they're not following a keto diet, do have temporary states of ketosis where you're burning fat for fuel while you're sleeping because you're not eating. So your body will end up doing it that way. So if you are really being strict, it's not something I would personally worry about. But again, I'm not a doctor. Again, if you're on medication, I definitely want to check that out. As far as the nagging headache, that's probably a sodium thing. I'd make sure that you're getting enough sodium in there. But if you can always follow with a medical professional, Go join Dr. Barry's Mighty Networks group and ask that question in there. It's like $5 a month to join his Mighty Networks group.
That is the cheapest copay ever.
Yep. Next one's from Tammy.
Hey, Tammy, huge win for me yesterday. At work, we have a ton of snacky foods for our clients that I have to stare at all day. Due to life stresses and being in the office alone too many times, I've given into the temptation and let my addiction take over. I fully admit I have a sugar addiction that I'm trying to overcome. Yesterday, I found myself alone at work. It's a super slow week, so I was also bored and heard that inner voice saying, you could have just one. No, you could have two. Two, you'll be fine. No one will know. But then I heard Rachel from 2KK's voice from one of the recent videos I had been watching just yesterday morning saying, that food is not for me. So I put a little bit of Redmond salt on my tongue and drank some water. I am still shocked at this win, but I am so proud of myself. Tammy, I'm so glad that you're taking time to be proud of yourself, because this is something that you and I think so many people have really longed for, this opportunity to slay that craving. What is it that's going to break the hold of a particular craving or particular behavior like boredom, eating, or emotional eating, or frustration, stress-induced eating, and you found what is working for you, which is in that moment, point it out and say, that is not for me. That does not belong to me. I don't eat that any differently than I would go dig around in the dog's bowl and be like, well, I'm going to have, we're sharing this, Tabitha, because she'd be like, no, we're not sharing this. But, that is great. So finding what is going to redirect your mind to stay on track is a powerful thing. And I'm so thankful that I could be a part of that great victory. So awesome.
Let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
Are you ready for the holidays? Did you get a lot of shopping done over the Black Friday and now into Cyber Monday weekend? That's my question.
Jen said last year I was taking insulin and metformin, and my triglycerides were 177. I am now off of all diabetes meds with my A1C of 5.2 and my that's awesome. My triglycerides are 225. My doctor says it's due to keto.
God bless that doctor.
Can keto cause high triglycerides? So no, he's saying that her triglycerides are high because of keto.
Oh.
Something else is
going on. Well, God bless
on.
him anyway.
Your triglycerides should not be going up on keto unless you're eating the wrong types of foods. So, again, not doctors. Chris Bear had a great presentation on the low-carb cruise. You can go watch it on the Keto Chow website. He also talked about this during our 11 on 11 live stream, that for him, in doing some research and doing his 100 days of Keto Chow, he learned that MC2O raises his triglycerides. More of what causes our triglycerides to go up is not eating fat. It's the types of fats and the other foods that we're eating with it. So examine your diet and look at are you using things like canola oil? Are you using Hellmann's mayonnaise? Are you using a lot of the different types of seed oils, or are you keeping it to healthy animal fats? Are you allowing carbohydrates to sneak into your lives? So again, Dr. Boz has some great videos on triglycerides. So does Dr. Barry. And I would definitely go check those out, because your triglycerides should go down on keto. So something else is going on. And you can look at everything else that's going on. Like, you've reversed your type 2 diabetes. So those are the things that I would be looking at and figure out which foods are you consuming that are raising triglycerides, because it's not beef and other meats, and it's not eating like animal fats. There's something else going on there.
What a difference a year makes. And I like taking the opportunity to look back and see like how far that you've come, like physically. It also inspires me to consider maybe what I want for Christmas this year isn't just another cozy blanket and a pillow that makes staying on the couch more comfortable. Maybe this is the year where I ask for experiences. Maybe this is the year that like there's a local museum or a beautiful garden space or something that's going to inspire you to be active and outside, living your best life, enjoying this health that you fought so hard to get.
Yeah. Next one is from Andy.
Hey Andy, can anyone suggest a good oil spray brand type? I'm finally going to get rid of my cheap canola cooking sprays. Been too much of a penny pincher. Specifically, I use it on my mini chaffle maker.
We use spray canola, spray coconut oils, spray canola,
You don't
spray
use canola.
avocado, and spray coconut oil.
Right.
The brand we tend to buy, we buy whatever's on sale, but the one we buy the most is Chosen Foods. You can get it on Amazon. I left a link for it down below. We also can sometimes find it in Costco or one of those places, and Whole Foods. I like Chosen Foods because I trust the brand.
Yes.
But those are the ones that we tend to buy the most. It's just a spray avocado, which I like avocado oil because it doesn't have a flavor. Right. And I think it works just as well as canola oil. It's great for exactly what you're talking about in your chaffle maker. So I left a link for it down below on from Amazon. Next one is from JJ.
Hey JJ.
My wife made keto chow butterscotch egg pudding for me while I was at work last night. The taste is through the roof, but it has a grainy texture. Any ideas on what she did wrong? She says she followed the recipe exactly, but she has a tendency to take shortcuts. She most likely did not run it long enough in the blender. You got to run it for 3 or 4 minutes. It should get nice and smooth and creamy, and there should be steam coming off of it.
Right.
So that's the biggest mistake people make when they make the egg pudding is they don't run it long enough. It looks smooth, but it's not smooth enough. Wherever you think it needs, you're at the right texture, go an extra minute. You're not going to hurt it. Next one is from Katie.
Hey Katie, to celebrate my keto journey and how thankful I am for my health back, I got to walk 4.3 miles with my sister and niece, a way to make the day about community, family, and fellowship, not food. That is so stinking awesome. I love that you've celebrated life momentum with an activity. Right? Like that is such a fantastic win. I think about how pitifully we celebrated successes in the past. You know, I would think about like the boys even having a success at school and celebrating, 9 weeks worth of doing your homework diligently and passing your test. And 9 weeks later, what are you going to get for that? We're going to have an ice cream cone?
Right.
Like that is not sufficient celebration, right? We need to go someplace, move our body, really enjoy ourselves, be out with family. Like there are better ways to celebrate life, and I love how you chose to do it.
Yeah, see, Donna Joe said Kelly Hogan noticed her triglycerides are higher if she drinks coffee within 3 days of blood work. Try eliminating coffee for 3 to 4 days and see if it makes a difference.
Great idea.
Yeah, so it's not keto, it's something else. Next is Audrey.
Hey, Audrey.
Just wondering, would 32 days of beef, butter, bacon, egg make a person fat adapted? How do we know if we're fat adapted? I have a curious mind today.
I love that.
So, will beef, butter, bacon, egg help make us fat adapted? It will help you. Does it mean you're fat adapted? Maybe or maybe not. Probably not. It generally takes about 90 days to 6 months to get truly fat adapted. Not your body utilizing for fuel, to get fat adapted, where your body knows
this is how we do it.
Fat is the preferred fuel.
Right.
Goes back to the carb cycling. Why I'm not really a proponent of utilizing carbs or having off days, especially for people who just got started. Your body's not ready for that yet. If you've been doing keto for 3 or 4 years and you have a day where, you incorporate carbs because you're going to go on a long distance ultra marathon, which I wouldn't advise anyway. Not that not the running marathon. I mean, having the carbs for the marathon.
All right. Go ahead and run the marathon.
That's different because your body will know to utilize those carbohydrates and then click the switch and go right back to fat. That's where, Benazati talks about keto flex and being able to flex back and forth. But if you're new to keto, you need a good, really, I like to say 6 months before your body is truly fat adapted. I personally don't have a way of noticing just like physically, hey, my body is fat adapted. But like, it's just, you kind of know you're there. And it's like one of those things like, better be safe than sorry, go longer.
That's really going to help with
beef,
the noise.
Butter, bacon, and egg will help you more than just standard keto because you're inherently having less carbohydrates.
Right.
So that kind of helps you
It's
more.
a rip the Band-Aid off if you're like, man, I am so like, there's so much carbohydrate noise that like, I just don't want to have to think. I just want to like be successful. When you're only eating beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, there's not a lot of thinking. There's not a lot of like elaborate recipes. There's not things where you're like, I could just add on and, you know, make this like an undermining meal. It just really, really helps to tune down the volume of noise. And that makes me very successful, is when I don't have a lot of things that I have to have my eyes on.
Next one's from Maryanne.
Hey, Maryanne, I love this so much. The most extraordinary thing happened to me today. My mobility scooter quit on me at SeaWorld. It's old and pretty beat up, but has never failed me until today. I was very slowly walking it back toward the front of the park, and I stopped for a minute to rest. A family stopped and offered to push. The father pushed me all the way to my car. Then, as I was thanking him for the help, he shoved a couple of bills into my hand, wished me a Merry Christmas, and told me to buy a new scooter. It was $200 bills. He was gone before I had the chance to say anything more. I am still in shock. Well, Maryanne, what a lovely gift that this person could bless you with. But as someone who knows you and knows your heart and knows what a beautiful, precious friend you are to others, it could not have happened to a nicer person. Maryanne is truly such a blessing. I'm so thankful to have her friendship in our life. I feel blessed to live in Florida because we get to have her in our state and get to see her when we have meetups from time to time. But it just like reminds you that there are
Gives you
good,
hope for humanity.
There's good people out there. Everybody does not suck. And when you see that, you know what that makes me want to be? I want to be that person that Maryanne met that didn't suck.
Yeah.
I want to be someone who does not suck. So what do I need to do today? When I see a need, I want to jump on that, right? Like I want to not delay. My mom had gotten a phone call from somebody that was like, I could really use a visit. Do you know where my mom is right now? Driving the several hours it takes to get to that person. Because she's like, you know what? That person needs me. I don't want to suck. Like I want to be helpful. And I think that this helping others is actually going to help me enjoy my holiday season more.
We have one more. It's from Ola.
Hey, Ola.
I love this. She said, 1 serving of homemade chocolate in this pretty mold. I only make 1 serving at a time, no more than once a week.
This is freaking brilliant, Ola. Absolutely brilliant. I hope a lot of people will see what you're doing and kind of replicate it. You went and got a mold that is absolutely gorgeous, right? Like when she makes chocolate for herself, and I'm sure you're making it like in an easy, straightforward recipe, it's done, but that looks like I ordered it from someplace fancy. It's very pretty, visually stimulating, delicious, and in a sustainable way. Like that is how you maintain the success that you fought so hard to achieve.
Yeah, if you are somebody who like cannot be a moderator, don't buy 50 packs of it. Like,
right.
Do like what I do. If like I really want a peanut butter cup, I don't have a bunch of them in my house.
Yeah.
I have to go to the gas station and get one. And I will use Quest ones because I think they're the cleanest ones that are out there that are easily available. But there's a couple things that happen with that. Number one, I have to seriously think about it because I don't have it in the house. I have to make a trip to go get it.
Right.
And then I only have 1. I don't have them sitting around where I can just grab them all the time. So I love the fact she's like, I make 1 a week. I don't make a big batch of it because it's a pain in the neck. I make 1 batch and go, that's it.
If you want a big batch stuff, big batch meat. Do not big batch desserts, especially during this season. And if you are going to big batch because you're like, hey, I'm giving them out as gifts to people, then big batch with like it completely broken out in mind so that you have like this place has this batch has already been portioned out and is filling these orders. Like, I don't want to double what I need so that I have an extra whole load of this stuff made, right? Like, if I'm going to make 10 people's worth, I've already got the 10 people in mind and the boxes to put it in, and it's getting shipped out and it's not staying in the house.
Let's jump into some comments from the chat before we get off. So Blue Dove said, I finally ordered my Viva
Hey,
Rays
Blue
on
Dove.
Black Friday. Do you guys still use yours?
Yeah.
I use them all the time.
We really do. And it helps us, especially I like to use them too, even as this transition from daylight savings time, it really helped because even though it's changed as far as what it looks like outside, my time of day looks the same. And I think that it really helps, make transitions into like the winter months.
Adam has a good question. Is not urinating through the night a sign of ketosis? I've never heard of it being a sign of ketosis, but I do know that it's a sign that you are getting more metabolically healthy and that you are consuming the appropriate amounts of sodium.
Yeah.
A lot of times, again, sounds weird, but if you're not consuming enough sodium, you end up going to the bathroom more. So great book. I highly recommend. I left a link for it down below called The Salt Fix. And it really gets into, again, talking about how we have demonized the wrong white crystal here in the United States and throughout the world. And that salt actually fixes a lot of things. And we think about like sodium. Again, people think that sodium is going to increase your blood pressure. Many times lack of sodium is what's causing the higher blood pressure. So I think that I know for myself that as I have gotten my sodium levels and my electrolyte levels dialed in, I don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom like I used to.
Yeah.
So
it's helped with all kinds of kidney function. I think about even like not having like UTIs regularly. Like it's really helped, and bladder concerns.
And one of the symptoms of diabetes and pre-diabetes is excessive urination. So again, I think that's why it's like not having to urinate as much, again, depends on everything else that's going on with your body, is a good sign for your metabolic health. I
will say that we usually pee out things pretty quickly as far as like when you're getting started, people note that, wow, like, I pee a lot when I started on keto.
Joanna said, when I was a kid, we ate pretty much a low-carb diet. Sure, we ate candy, but most of our diet was meat and vegetables. We didn't have so much processed foods then.
Absolutely. I mean, you think about like people used to can a lot. People used to do a lot of like preparation for the winter. So even like how you stewarded the winter was very different than how you see it now, where there's so much like grab and go options. You're not going and saying like, hey, I'm going to go to my root cellar and leverage the vegetables that I canned over the spring, right? We're like going to the grocery store and we're just buying like snacky food. So even when you think about like how you grew up, my grandparents, they lived a lot out of their garden, but it was still a whole food. So even in the winter months when things were not like, your tomatoes had gone dormant or squash or things like that, they still had things canned that they could utilize. But winter looked much different than just like me sitting on the couch eating a bunch of nuts and candy watching Hallmark movies. Like that's a very different way to live.
Debbie said, when you don't have a serious health issue as a reason to do keto, you have to find other reasons to stay in this lifestyle.
Absolutely. I think that that's a really important thing. And we've talked in the past about how I no longer have plantar fasciitis. So that can be, the pain is a powerful motivator. Once you no longer have that pain though, you have to reach for other things to motivate you, because it was amazing and definitely a catalyst for us going all in on keto when Joe no longer suffered with mobility issues. But just because now we still don't have mobility issues, like we still want to stay keto, right? So you have to have other reasons to help you stay on track.
Yep. Joe said, I went to Rodizio Grill for the first time last night for my birthday.
Nice.
Free dinner. Only picked one coupon deal. Meat quality was mixed, but the cheese guy was a hit. Yes.
Cheese guy.
The cheese guy at Rodizio, and I actually we asked when we were the one in Orlando, do you have the cheese? No, we don't have it. And
I think that was a blessing.
It was a blessing to us because
you're doing great.
I'm doing great.
No cheese, like you had like a little
I've
bit
had a little bit of cheese, but not like normal. But when that cheese guy at Rodizio Grill, yeah, we gotta go off the rails just a little bit.
Yeah, I will say the Orlando one was really good.
Dawn said, I had to go back to beef butter, bacon, and egg after one sweet potato. I started itching and red in my face was peeling.
Well, that's good to know that, like, that is not for you, not just because that has nothing to do with the carb thing, but you're like, yeah, if you see that you have an allergic reaction to something, you're like, that is unpleasant. Whether or not it makes me gain or lose weight is irrelevant to the fact that I do not want to live with like an itchy red face. Like, so that may be perfectly fine for somebody else that's using it in a strategic way, but this is the N=1 experiment that we talk about all the time. For you, it's painful, so therefore it is not friendly to your eating.
Adam said, can you provide a rundown of your current daily eating routine?
Okay. Meat. Eat till you're full.
We don't have a routine. Our routine is if we're hungry, we eat.
Yeah.
And if we're not hungry, we don't eat.
Right.
There are days where we eat 3 meals. There's days where we eat 1 meal. There's days where we eat 2 meals. There's days where we don't eat at all.
Yeah.
It just completely goes by how we feel. And I think the biggest change for us over the last year that has been really good for our eating lifestyle, for our overall health, for our marriage is if one person doesn't want to eat or isn't hungry, that's okay. Because we used to be like, okay, if we're eating, we eat and we eat together, and if we're not eating,
then
we don't eat and
same
we eat
quantities.
the same food. And over the last 6 months to a year, we've gotten Rachel be like, I'm hungry. Okay, I'm not. And so she'll make something. Or we always have something that you can eat if we don't want to cook, but we want to eat because maybe only one of us is eating. So Rachel always has her meat thins. And she may eat an entire pack in one sitting.
Right.
We always have hot dogs. We always have some pre-cooked ground beef. So if it is a day where or a meal where Rachel says she wants to eat and I don't, or vice versa, there's something available where we don't have to spend hours cooking, where it's just kind of a throw together. We also have that's where we can utilize keto chow, and we'll have a keto chow ice cream or something like that. But we really don't have a set eating schedule. Saturday, we ate Rodizio Grill. Sunday, we ate some Buffalo Wild Wings while we were driving home from Orlando.
But it was late.
We stayed at a hotel that had free breakfast, and normally we would get free breakfast because it's free.
Free.
And we woke up in the morning. I'm like, Rachel's like, are you gonna go get breakfast? I'm like, honestly, I'm not really very hungry, so there's no reason to eat the breakfast, even though it is free. And then I'm like, okay, well, we went down and they had turkey sausage, which is usually pretty good. And what I'll do is I showed it in the video. I make these, I call them carnivore Oreos. I take the sausage and then I put some cream cheese and then put another one on top. And I took a bite and I'm like, it's not that good. And in the past, I would finish it anyway because it's keto and it's breakfast. And I just threw it out and said, It's not that good, and I don't need all the extra cream cheese and stuff, especially if
it's not good, I'm not eating it.
It's not that good.
Yeah.
So I just threw it out. But yeah, that's why we don't do as many vlogs as we used to, because it's honestly boring for most people.
I don't think anybody wants to watch us not eat if we're not hungry.
Right.
And I don't think that, and it's challenging sometimes, for people to view because we're eating differently, but he can sit down and eat a meal and I can have a cup of coffee or a glass of water or something like that. We're not required to eat at the same time and the same thing in the same amount in order for us to have the fellowship.
Yeah, we still eat together a lot, but there are definitely days where Rachel's like, I'm just not hungry, or I'm like, I'm just not hungry. And so we just kind of figure out a way to get around that.
Yeah.
And, but again, that's why we don't vlog as much. I mean, I would love to vlog more, but I don't think, like you said, anybody wants to watch a vlog where we're just not eating. Because, what's going to be in the video?
Yeah. So when it does look like it's lining up, we tape it.
Yeah. Sandra said, "Good morning, Joe and Rachel. Can you please give me your opinion of the Mediterranean diets? My doctors are recommending Mediterranean diet. Is it a horrible diet? No. It still comes down to whole food. Do I think we need the Mediterranean diet? No. It basically is implementing a lot more fruits and stuff, and I think that for most of us, we don't need those fruits, and they're not a good idea because they are higher in sugar. Yes, it is a different type of sugar, but it's still higher in sugar. And a lot of people on the Mediterranean diet, and they introduce a lot of smoothies, and I think that smoothies are the absolute worst way to consume fruit and vegetables
because you're
consuming more than you
would
more. If you were eating it.
Yeah.
You know, so you look at like a glass of orange juice. So take out the sugar aspect. Could there be some health benefits to eating an orange? Possibly, if they're locally grown, okay? If you live in Alaska, you should never be eating an orange. They're not locally grown, okay? But oranges are in season for about a month a year here in Florida, maybe 2 months, depending on the variety. If you could eat an orange, that'd be one thing. But then people go drink a glass of orange juice. Well, that's like 7 oranges.
So if you can sit down and eat 7 oranges, there you go.
Most people are not going to be able to sit down and consume 7 oranges. And you're throwing out the fibers and stuff.
But when we drink juices, that's why it's definitely not something I would ever recommend to give a child, is like apple juice, orange juice. Like if they would not sit down and eat this fruit, like all you're doing is, I mean, think about a little tiny body eating 10 oranges, right? Or 10 apples at a time. Right. And if you can sit down and eat it.
To answer your question, is the Mediterranean diet a horrible diet? No, when you compare it to the standard American diet.
Right.
Do I think that eating a ketogenic lifestyle with healthy fats, eating whole foods, is a better way, keeping our body in that state of fat burning? I do think I do think the ketogenic lifestyle, whether you're carnivore or ketovore or whatever version you want to be, is healthier than the Mediterranean diet. But I do think the Mediterranean diet is a healthier diet than eating the standard American diet. Because I think you are getting a lot of your vitamins and nutrients. It's one of the reasons I'm not a proponent of the vegan diet, because there are certain vitamins and nutrients that you absolutely cannot get on a vegan diet without heavy supplementation. And you shouldn't have to do heavy supplementation if you're eating whole foods. You should be getting most of your supplements. You know, it's like one thing to supplement magnesium and potassium, but it's another thing when you have to start supplementing vitamins and nutrients that aren't in your food.
Right.
And so that's what I think. But again, the problem is doctors love to go to the Mediterranean because it includes fruits and things like that. And they just don't understand the keto lifestyle as
They're
much as
trying to make that food pyramid work, instead of throwing it out and going back to the drawing board and saying, like, maybe this isn't it.
Lynette said, I just walked around the block by myself for 10 days after surgery, literally while I'm listening to this YouTube live. Almost virtually no inflammation. Thanks for the heavy keto.
I love that. And that's a great way to describe it. I would say that is how I would describe our way of eating too, is meat heavy keto. Like very meat heavy.
TV, newbie here.
Hey,
Rachel,
welcome.
Joe, I appreciate how real you are. No BS excuses. I'm abstained for successful health forever. Saw you at Ketopalooza. Your enthusiasm was addicting.
Is the cruise closed?
No, so you can still jump on the 2KK cruise January 8th. You just have to pay the current rates for the cruise. We actually just had somebody else join us that way.
Yay!
The current rates aren't horrible. They're a little bit more than what we had arranged, but again, we're closer to it, and so the group rates are gone. But if you're interested, you can reach out to us, and we can get you on the cruise. Risa said, got through Thanksgiving with no problem. I limited my planned dessert to one tiny slice of something special with 0 sugar whipped topping. No regrets. Back to low carb the next morning.
So proud of you, Risa. What a celebration. Like that's a victory.
Lady Fritzer said, I did sous vide a turkey breast and my family wanted me to come over soon and make them more.
Right, because I've got to give props to that Miss Sarah, my mother. Her turkey that she made for Thanksgiving was absolutely super moist and delicious. She is a huge Butterball fan. Like, she thinks that it's all in the Butterball. Like, if you get a Butterball turkey, it's just somehow better than everything else. But I think it has something to do with, putting on 50 Thanksgivings in a row in her life, right? I think that she's come to make a good turkey. But that turkey was
And you
really
know, does
good.
Amazon tell you who used it? I don't think so. There is a portal you can go in and see what was used, what was purchased with our links. I don't think it tells you. I don't look at. I don't. I really don't get heavy into analytics and looking at that kind of stuff.
We'll just get depressed.
So I'll just trust God. Like, I used to really be into that, but I don't look at like, okay, this video, where did people click off? There are so many things within YouTube you can go into and know exactly at what point people click off and like make recommend. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to make the content that we want to make. And listen, I know our videos are too long for most people. But it's like, if we try to do things different, it's no longer authentic.
It's not us.
And so we tend to not just pay too much attention to all the analytics. The one analytic I do always find amazing is the fact that like 70% of the people who watch our videos are not subscribed to our channel, which I just do not understand. So it is completely free. So do me a favor right now. If you are not subscribed to the channel, head down below and hit the subscribe button. It takes like 2 seconds and it's free. While you're there, hit the bell button. Then you're notified when our videos go live. And also hit the like button because that helps promote our channel. That's about the only analytic that I look at.
I have to keep it like that. If I go by clicks, likes, subscribers, comments, emails, like if I use that as like, this is what's going to schedule my day, this is how my day's going to go. I'm going to go get a katana sword. That's it. Because like it could get pretty grim out there. You have to just do things because you feel passionate about it.
But I know with the companies that we are affiliates with, every one of them, some of them will tell you a list of all of the purchases. Like, here's the amount, like, $112, your commission is $1.15 or whatever it may be. But they never tell you the name. A lot of them don't even tell you that. They just said that you've done this much in sales this month, but they don't tell you like who is purchasing it.
And we don't need to know. That's not our business.
There's no reason to know that. Debbie said, two objections I hear. It's too expensive and requires too much planning. To me, it's cheaper because of the aisles I completely avoid.
Yeah.
I agree. And for planning, I feel like it's freeing knowing I just grab. To me, both of those are bunk. Because keto, we spend less money on food than we ever spent before. When we go to BJ's, Costco, Sam's Club, we definitely spend less money because we don't buy all the sample stuff that they have laying around. I mean, how much is a bag of potato chips now? Like $6? I mean, a Big Mac meal at McDonald's is like $10. We don't buy any of that stuff. We don't buy $7 Starbucks drinks. So it's definitely not too expensive. And as far as planning, what planning?
Yeah.
It's less because what meat am I having tonight? Chicken. What side? I don't know. There are no sides. I don't eat potatoes. I'm going
to eat a big mess of chicken until I'm done eating chicken.
Yeah, so it's just, to me, nonsense. And I think you can cook faster meals with keto than you can the standard American diet because how long does it take to make rice properly? Make baked potatoes properly?
Fry up a hamburger.
You can fry up a hamburger, throw eggs in a frying pan, or if you want to really be lazy and don't have any time, get an Instant Pot or a sous vide. And you can throw any meat in there, and it's done in 15 minutes, even if it was frozen.
And I can buy, we use Instant Pot, we use sous vide, and we use like crock pots and stuff. It breaks down tough food, so I can get cheaper cuts of meat, leverage roast, that sort of thing. And put it in there, and you come back, and it's just all pulled. That's the best way for me to even eat dark meat. Like, put in a bunch of thighs in the pressure cooker, come back, and it's all like pulled chicken, very inexpensive. It really helps the budget.
Okay, so the last one, Adam said it feels really good when you look at a chocolate pie, and the first thing it reminds you of is a recovery period.
I love that. So good.
Okay, we are going to get off. We appreciate everybody for joining us. We will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We love you guys. Have a great week.